Dominated on defeat by Michael Venom Page, destroyed by Shavkat, battered in the 5th round by a chain smoker, ran away from a 5'1" Jeff Neal because apparently he hits like a train, and what would you do? Constantly dragging fighters onto their knees so they can embrace like they've just partaken in the fight of the year, when it wasn't even fight of the night. This dude is insane. I didn't go into the Ariel Helwani interview with Ian Garry thinking, okay, I'm going to have to make a video about this. I kind of just went in for curiosity's sake, and I watched it. It was late last night, and so many times I thought to myself, oh my God, this is outlandish, right? This is crazy. He's not actually saying this stuff with that like spasticated face, but he was, and he did. And in the aftermath of it, I still didn't think about making a video because very curiously, just in terms of channel growth and suppression of this channel, when you type in RP MMA into the YouTube search and you put Ian Garry in there as well, nothing, crickets. Type in Red Pill MMA, Ian Garry, RP MMA, nothing. Actually, what you'll find is when you type in both of them accompanied together, you'll find hundreds of videos from other content creators. Jesse on Fire, Lucas Tracy, Chael Sonnen, MMA Guru. They fill up the entire search engine when you put in my name and Ian Garry. Not one picture, not one story. And I believe I've done something in the vicinity for my sins of 30 to 50 videos on Ian Garry. Not one shows up. So that's very interesting. So as a little gesture towards myself there, maybe you could hit subscribe and share, if any of it makes sense. So I'm watching this podcast last night and I'm watching this interview, and it's ludicrous and it's mentally ill and so many levels, and I don't think about making a video, whatever. So I see it come up as a clip on the Ariel Helwani show today on YouTube, and I jump into the comments, and honestly I just read like 15 or 20 comments, and the first 15 or 20 literally were all the points that I was thinking that would make a great video, and here we are. But we're going to read the comments and we're going to have a conversation about young Ian Garry and his delusions last night. And before we do, I suppose the cliff notes for me, the ones that stood out, and they're probably going to show up in the comment section, are Ian Garry's reaction to Jack Della Maddalena's response to the young kid giving him M&Ms. He goes down this hypocritical route. I've seen articles talking about it today. Ian Garry responds to Jack Della Maddalena, and it's like, okay, your take was insane. There was a few anomalies in this as well. And again, I didn't want to bring it up, but there was a couple of occasions when he was looking off screen, like we've pointed out many a time before. Obviously, his missus /PR /manager /whatever is sitting off camera telling him what to say. All very premeditated, all very unorganic. A lot of the stuff he said was insane. And yeah, it was just one big messed up, garbage, delusional rant from Ian Garry. So I guess we'll jump into the first comment here, and it is referring to Ian Garry saying that Jack Della Maddalena looked sloppy and so did Belal Muhammad, and then he kind of backtracked on that and said it was in real time it felt like they were slow and it felt like they were sloppy, but when I watched it back, yeah, they were pretty okay. He started giving advice to Belal Muhammad on MMA, imagine that, from Ian Garry, and you were thinking, what is this? I think that Belal Muhammad needed to bite down on the mouthpiece and really throw some power. And I was thinking, as he was saying it, are you for real? Because you've never done that in your entire life. He said that Belal Muhammad needed to maybe wade into the firefight a little bit more. Maybe take one or two slaps just to get in there and maybe get, a single leg locked in, or, but he was going to have to take a little bit of punishment to get inside. And you just kind of remember the last 5 fights from Ian Garry where every time he fights a striker, he literally runs away. It's so bizarre. It was so bizarre. So first comment, in Ian's round 5 he was crawling on the canvas looking at the clock. Jack in round 5 was putting 9-punch combinations on a bloodied face of the champion. Stunning comment that is right there at the top. Calling Jack sloppy after he nearly got finished by Prates is wild. And when you jump into the replies of these perfectly kosher like points, people are like, what are you talking about, man? He dominated for 23 minutes of a 25-minute fight. Yes, but he got the head slapped off him in the last 2. And he did crawl around on the ground like a spa. And he was looking at the clock and he barely survived, and he looked brutal. Absolutely brutal. And if you go back to the 23-minute domination, was it unbelievable? Was there 8, 9, 10 punch combos? No. It was him, like, throwing 1-2s and kicks from distance, continuously circling. Exact same as the Jeff Neal fight, exact same as the Michael Venom Page fight, exact same as the Shavkat to an extent, where we saw the inversion, where he ran away in the circular motion. In this one, he went clockwise and threw a few punches. Not exactly a domination, but that's just me. Pretty hilarious Ian telling Bilal to bite down on the mouth guard and be more aggressive, when Ian is known to fight on the outside and not be aggressive, as I just said. And that's being generous, putting it like that. He's known for fighting on the outside. He's known for running. He's known for avoiding. He's known for talking a big game about he's striking, but when the opportunity presents itself to show the world that you're a better striker than Michael Venom Page, a dude who's not even in the top 10 or 15, I don't even know where he is, you decided to grapple like a 6-year-old in a BJJ class on a Saturday morning, and it's their first day. That's what you tried to do against a decent, awkward striker like Michael Venom Page. Jeff Neal, when you ran away from him, you were talking shit about he hits like a train, what would you do? I don't know. I work in construction. I'm not an MMA future champion, as you say, which I don't ever see happening, by the way. I don't care what gods are shining on Ian Garry and his career. He's never becoming the welterweight champion of the world. Never. You'll never see Jack crawling away on all fours. Ian talking about not bringing kids into the trash talk, but yet he did this to Neil Magny, and twisting his words after all that. Garry loves to hear himself talk about himself so much it's just laughable. Give this guy a muzzle or a gag ball, lol. Really good point about the Neil Magny stuff. So I don't know when the novelty of having your kid go and interact with other MMA fighters is going to wear off. I don't know when the missus is going to pull the plug on that particular PR tactic, that genius tactic, but there's a lot of people getting tired of it. And for a beautiful, cool looking kid like what he's got, is it fair to be putting him out there to eventually have people going, okay, get him out from the front of the camera, we're sick of seeing it? That's not really fair on a kid, to be honest with you. The first little bit of a pushback that we saw last weekend from Jack Della Maddalena, in terms of him in the press conference saying, is that even Ian's kid? It was a little bit in jest. He might have had a little bit of irritation, because at the end of the day, look at that Spaz face and you would be very irritated. And if he kept sending your kid over to you whilst you're trying to have an interview, whilst you're in a weight cut, whilst you've just made your way back after a year's injury and you're fighting for a title, and you have this autistic Spaz sending his child over to you with a bag of sweets, surely you're going to be annoyed. And that's where that comment came from. And Ian Garry lost his shit, and it came out last night in a very rehearsed statement. He said that it was a playful joke about a child giving a fighter M&Ms with a baseline comedy of take these, miss weight, my daddy will step in and win the world title. That's just a laugh, Ian Garry said. And then going out and saying comments as he said is just immature, and it shows that he's very sensitive because he's saying something like that, which that's out of his character. It means that what I was doing on fight week irritated him enough to get up there and say something like that. Which means when I do fight him, I'm going to open up a whole can of irritation, because I reckon he's mentally weak and I can get inside his head. What in the name of God are you talking about? So he did this whole take on trash talk, and Jack Della Maddalena was being immature and weak, and it was a kid and the baseline was comedy. What was your baseline when you went after Neil Magny and almost got his kids taken off of him? What was the baseline there? What was the joke there? Absolutely insane. I saw Ian Garry not land one single shot on Michael Venom Page. Then he went on to say, I hurt him, and his eyes rolled in the back of his head. Oh man. Here's a good one. You're on a 1-fight win streak against 13 ranked fighter. You have 0 top 5 wins. You don't deserve a title shot. You don't even deserve a number 1 contender shot. You've already had that against Shavkat and you lost. You're not a winner, you're a loser. Okay, that's a little bit harsh, but yeah, he got real frightened last night talking about Sean Brady. He was looking at Ariel going, you know I'm game, you know I'm a fighter, you know I'm going to step up and be a bitch for the UFC, and I'm going to do whatever they want me to do as a backup fighter as long as I get the next shot. It's like, I don't know, maybe he gets a title shot because of doing favors and licking ass, but I don't see him in any way, shape or form getting past people like Morales, the guy who called him out, who I believe has jumped up to 8 in the rankings, Sean Brady, Joaquin Buckley. There's definitely fights that he can win, you know, like someone like a Leon Edwards maybe or something like that. But to constantly berate Ariel with the whole I'm going to be a champion, I'm the best in the world, I'm constantly evolving the game for other people to watch. And as I said, Michael Venom Page, I saw the eyes roll in the back of his head when I hit him. Dude, you didn't even land. You were falling all over yourself trying to do jiu-jitsu, and it was cringe. Ian got dominated on the feet by Michael Venom Page, lost to Shavkat, nearly got finished in a fifth by a chain smoker. Machado has no room to call anyone sloppy when JDM was piecing Bilal up like Machado could only dream. Yeah, that's a brilliant comment, and you could add so much more to it. Dominated on the feet by Michael Venom Page, destroyed by Shavkat, battered in the fifth round by a chain smoker, ran away from a 5'1" Jeff Neal because apparently he hits like a train, and what would you do? Constantly dragging fighters onto their knees so they can embrace like they've just partaken in the fight of the year when it wasn't even fight of the night. This dude is insane. Delete this. Oh, I like that one. Ian's biggest achievement is losing by decision to Shavkat. 100% correct. How does Gary have the longest Irish winning streak? He's won one fight in a row. Because he was sitting there listening to Ariel talking about, I don't know, 11 performances or 11 wins in welterweight division, and that's the best of any Irish fighter, even better than Conor or some bullshit like that. And I was thinking, like, didn't you just lose there a few minutes ago to Shavkat? Badly. And as I said numerous times, there was numerous contentious fights where they were split or unanimous. They were contentious, man. Jeff Neal, Michael Venom Page, come on. And all you got to do is pop over there, look at the comment section. They go on and on and on. I couldn't find one particular comment that definitely resonated when they said that this guy talks such a huge game, and he talks about mental instability of the new champion, Jack Della Maddalena. He talks shit at Belal Muhammad, the former champion, Leon Edwards, all champions. This guy talks down to them as if he's like some elite, mentally equipped badass. And the comment referenced, didn't this guy back out of a fight with Vicente Luque because the internet were laughing at him and his missus? Because he got his feelings hurt by videos made by people like myself, even though they're memory hole and you can't find them? You can have a look at them on my channel if you want. Pop over there. There should be a playlist actually. But didn't he back out of a fight? Didn't he fake having some crazy sickness? Didn't he do this fake phone call to Michael Bisping and all them, pretending to be sick like he was ringing into work on a Monday morning after being on the slosh for the weekend? Didn't that happen? Didn't he put up a load of pictures of him lying on different couches around the world on his journey back home with this vicious sore throat or whatever it was? This came after 3 consecutive disrespecting of UFC fighters. Neil Magny nearly got his kids taken off him. Jeff Neal went after him because of personal decisions that went the wrong way. Vicente Luque, you remember that? Remember him disparaging Vicente Luque's religion, talking about, forget about Jesus Christ, mate. On Saturday, the real God is going to be standing in front of you and he's going to be this blonde vessel. And what did he do in that fight? He bounced out of there because of hurt feelings. This guy is a complete and utter joke. This interview was insane. The comment section was absolutely phenomenal. Let me know what you think will happen if he has the balls to step into the octagon with Sean Brady. Let me know if you think he's going to be a champion and whether we're going to speak about him and his skill set and how he evolved the game of MMA. Let me know if you're going to talk in them terms about Ian Garry. And as I said, if any of this makes sense, maybe hit like, subscribe and share. I'd really appreciate it. Cheers.